deal activist Welcome back. Well, let's continue our conversation about the medical devices industry and the kind of PE interest that we've seen. To talk more about it, we have Kevan Movdawala, healthcare sector leader and partner EY, Ernst Young, India. And we also have Anish Bafna, MD and CEO, Healthium MedTech, who's with us. Anish as well as Kevan, thank you very much for joining in.
Anish, one likens this to how the generic market grew in India for the world as well. What from that can we learn to ensure that this growth also is a lot more strong, a lot more sustainable, and perhaps can be a lot bigger as well? What are the lessons that one should learn from that?
It's a very right sort of simile, because we are exactly where Indian pharma was about 30 or 40 years back. And currently, I think this is a transformative period for the Indian medical device industry, right? I mean, historically, the med device ecosystem has been heavily import dependent. 70 to 75% of what we use in this country is imported, and that has been traditionally dominated by global multinationals, right? With the ever expanding healthcare provider space and network, there is an increased requirement for products to be manufactured in India, to be supplied here, high quality products at affordable prices. And which is where you're seeing consolidation happening. You're seeing the private equity players also playing a very important role. But what we are seeing currently is the development of an ecosystem in India. A lot of players, there are about 3,000 now registered players as far as med device are concerned. And the beginning has started with surgical consumables and products that are used in infection prevention and the likes. But over a period of time, the ecosystem will get fostered. And as more components come in, as the captive consumption of the domestic market increases, we will see a lot of scale players who are able to do exactly what pharma did in the international environment and take share from large multinationals in Europe, US, and other parts of the world.
Okay. Well, Anish, Healthium itself has had a very interesting story. It's gone from Apex to now KKR. Give us a sense in terms of how exactly the private equity money changed the course of the company, and where would you rank Healthium in terms of the products and the services that you're providing today as compared to the global peers?
Right. So, our story predominantly started in 2018. And in the fragmented market like India, the medical device industry, as I said, was predominantly multinational driven. Our vision was to create an independent Indian medtech company that not only caters to the Indian population, but creates strong products that can be taken internationally as well. And, we started through the acquisition route. We acquired 3 companies, 2 in India, 1 internationally. And over a period of the next 6 years, we were able to make 3 more acquisitions, make a divestiture. And as an organization, we've remained very focused on the surgical portfolio. So, over what was earlier a sutures manufacturing company is now having 4 different verticals. We have advanced surgery, which is everything to do with wound closure. We have wound management. We have created an arthroscopy portfolio from scratch. Arthroscopy globally is about $5.5 billion market. And these are difficult to manufacture products. So, our view was India has an ecosystem in terms of the necessary skills, whether they're polymers, chemical, metals, and the likes. You have a lot of regulatory experience in this country. And if you're able to harness it, we can create a medtech company of scale. So we have arthroscopy, and then we have infection prevention. And that journey sort of has allowed us to grow the business double digit, both on the top line and the bottom line over a period of the last 6 years. And we've grown our top line at about 20%, our bottom line at about 24%. And we've pivoted the company internationally, where 50% of our overall sales comes from the international market. We are now present in about 90 countries. We have about 85 patents. And all this was possible only because of the infusion of private equity money, which sort of allowed us to create this platform, both through the acquisition route and organically, and gave us sort of the funding to grow internationally as well. As we speak, we are the largest manufacturer of suture needles in the world, and 1 in 5 surgeries globally uses a Healthium product. So it's been a very interesting journey, and I really think that we've just started scraping the surface, because we cater to currently to a TAM of about $15 to $16 billion globally. And with certifications like USFDA, UMDR, the global network has really opened up for us, which is where we see a very large part of our growth coming for the next 10 to 15 years.
Anish, just before we wrap up this conversation, we are fantastic when it comes to medical consumables, products which are probably used outside the surgery and to a certain extent used inside the body as well, such as, say, stents. But we still haven't reached high-end medical manufacturing, which is dominated by MNCs. When does that shift happen, and will that shift happen?
Ekta, I think we are poised for a multi-decade growth opportunity. The beginning always starts with consumables, products that are relatively easy to manufacture, that are able to harness the local ecosystem. But over a period of time, we will see the emergence of several players across subcategories who will position themselves globally. And, we have all the necessary raw material in place to make sure that we are able to make cost-effective and scaled manufacturing facilities that are able to cater to different kind of product categories in the future, right? I think the growth vector will get accentuated by this entire Make in India effort. And currently it's both Make in India and Make for the World. And what will further sort of accentuate this is our spends on R&D. If we as a company are spending roughly about 4 to 5% on R&D, and which everybody else is. So what I feel is that, our capabilities toward bringing innovative products is increasingly becoming better. We are having more collaborative efforts between industry stakeholders as well as the government, and the government's proactive stance to the sector becomes fundamental, right, for this kind of transformation to happen. So you're seeing a lot of work around infrastructure development, facilitating R&D, attracting FDI, promoting sectoral skilling. So, with initiatives like PLI, the establishment of medical device parks, we will slowly see the formation of an ecosystem. But ultimately, what is very important is the captive consumption of the domestic market, right? I mean, the reason China grew is because the domestic market was very, very strong. As we are able to get a better foothold domestically and take share from multinationals, I think it's a matter of time where you will see a larger slew of products coming to the fore.
All right, Anish, a pleasure speaking to you all on the medical devices industry. And I'm sure this is one of many conversations considering the kind of growth that we're seeing within the space. Thanks very much for taking the time out and speaking.